Hi there, welcome to the Binary 10 podcast. My name's James Blake, I'm the CEO of Binary 10.
And my name's Steve Smales, and I am the Chief Operating Officer.
Hello Steve, how are we doing?
Not so bad, thanks, Jamie. How are you?
Yeah, very good, very good. Really excited about today. We're continuing our series, Business Startups, some of the challenges that, people face when they're looking to start up and run a business. And today it's all about resourcing the team, keeping that team inspired, keeping that team happy. Lots to talk about because people are different.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's so important, isn't it, to keep people happy in their jobs. People work better when they're happier, and also tend not to leave the company as well. So it's very, very important when you've got good staff. Keeping good staff, and one of the best ways to keep them is to keep them happy.
No, absolutely. And naturally in life, I like to think I'm a bit of a people pleaser. I always sort of find the balance hard of, if you please people too much, could they take advantage? Could it just make their life a bit too easy? But I think what I've learned is that, everyone's different. So you have to have that sort of personal one-to-one touch and just get that transparency, that sort of openness and honesty out of people, and then both parties win, I think.
Exactly, and there's no one size fits all, is there, when you're sort of dealing with people and how they react to things. So I think you've got a sort of a bit of nuance, isn't there, in the way you treat people. It's not the same every time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, one of the things that we like to do here at Binary 10, obviously, is socials.
Absolutely.
That definitely comes from the top. But again, it's how I think we're doing it right. I mean, we get good feedback. Everyone really, really enjoys. We've taken people to the Royal Albert Hall at Christmas. We go on regular sort of horse racing events, and we try and bring the team together and sort of build that team spirit. And we get a lot of good feedback. But at the same time, you don't want to almost feel like you're forcing people to do this, or they're just doing it to network or to play the game.
Yeah.
And I don't sense that, but I guess it's do you worry about that too much, or do you just keep doing what you think is right?
Yeah, and I think there's 2 points I'm going to cover from what you just said there. And the first one is, everyone is different, and we do these events, I suppose, that we like, but we do try and mix them up a bit, so we're not always doing the same type of thing, because some events will appeal to some people and not others, and vice versa. So you do have to mix up the sort of the socials you're going to do, the events you're going to do. I think the other thing you mentioned there was feedback, and it's not just feedback on the social events, but feedback in general about their working life. Have they got the skills they think they need? Do they need any additional training? Are they working too long hours? Are they taking their holiday? So all of those things, we ask for feedback on all sorts of things, and we have regular sort of cash-ups with people to make sure we're aware of any issues they've got as well, and get some feedback from them, actually ask them for feedback.
Yeah, and a good example of that, like we just did the Walk for Good challenge, didn't we, at Binary 10? So it'd be good to sort of like cover that and sort of what came out of that. And I thought, I didn't think it was going to work. I thought, oh my God, we're forcing people here to just walk around and do extra walking. And, but then when obviously we raised money for charity, which is a great incentive. But I was actually sort of stunned how everyone really pulled together, shared their pictures, created loads of chat, and that's what we want, really. That's always more important than the challenge itself. But then we're now going to the next step, aren't we, and looking at, it turns out we all enjoy like a walk. That time we sort of did it a bit individual, but what could we do next? But rather than push it on people, I think, today we're meeting a lot of our employees and colleagues, and we're going to offer them up some options, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think some are looking more at sort of mental health, others about sort of physical exercise, like the Walk for Good that we did last time. Others are more sort of about culture and trying to sort of embrace different cultures and learn new things. So, different options there, and we'll see what the feedback is again.
Yeah, no, it's going to be good, isn't it? And I wonder if, I think we're sort of aspiring to maybe a 3 Peaks challenge, or actually like a few nights away, which is it's a big opportunity to sort of build that. And I think one of the other things I've been thinking about actually is that, and I don't know what the answer is yet, and when we finally do it, we can report back. But we've got to put effort into how that weekend's going to go. If we let it just go too naturally, it might not be beneficial. I think, from a leadership perspective, it's really important to think about what things could we bring along, what extra sort of activities could we do, as well as doing the walk-in to kind of get that team spirit. Now, I don't mean we stop and we all have to build a tower out of sticks, because we've all been on those kind of away days, and they can be a little
bit too heavy, aren't they? Some of them
a little bit. But to think about something like that, so we can really look to build that sort of team spirit, and that morale against the group.
Yeah, it's getting something that's the middle ground between something that's, you don't want something that's oversubscribed or prescribed in terms of, it's got all these set steps that you have to do, and it's all very organised and no sort of freestyle about it. But on the other hand, you don't want something where you just end up in the pub for 4 hours either, do you?
No. Well, sounds good. But no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And I think, and what would be great is people listening in, give us some feedback. Let us know about things you've done with your companies or that you've been part of that you just really enjoyed and everyone enjoyed, in the group. And, we'll definitely listen out for that, because, we're all ears. We want to, and happy to do something, a bit different, especially if it works. But then other than that then, so we've talked a bit about, obviously the nice things that the company can do for the people and look to build that team. What other things, are really important when it comes to, making sure that person is happy? Because we know a happy person, is going to deliver great work and whatnot. But what are the other things that we can do, to ensure we get that?
Well, I think something we've always done, and particularly when we take people on, and recruitment's very, very important to us, and we're both heavily involved in that even now. And, we always make a point in those sort of interviews of saying to people, look, we're going to put you on this role, or we're going to offer you this role. If you're finding on a particular project you're not enjoying it, speak to us, let us know, because we might be able to get you out of that into something that's a bit more appropriate to skills or the way you're living. So I think that's something that we offer. And it's not just like said in an interview to get people in. We do actually mean that, and we actually do get feedback from people about how the project is going and are they happy with it.
Yeah. And also I think the training is so key, isn't it? And just, not training up people just to do specific skills that are right for your business, which obviously has got to be a priority, but also giving them the opportunity to learn something that would benefit them.
Yeah.
And, sort of add to their skills. I mean, in fact, we did a fantastic kind of AI seminar, didn't we? With Binary 10 and sort of not talking about using AI for what we do in data and data migration, but actually just AI for everyday life to just make their capability even better, which, will make them happier, but also our clients happier. So, I'm really pleased that we're starting to go down that route, and, and I know it's going to reap the benefit. I mean, one of the things I do worry about, though, because I think at the minute, where we've still got a network of, 20, 30 people, and, it feels like a tight-knit family. But as we grow, because we want to grow the business, how do we keep, I think this is going to be our next big challenge, and it doesn't keep me awake at night, but I do think about it. How do we keep that level of kind of care, one-to-one, everybody's accountable, everyone is important as we grow and we go to 50 people and 100 people, and I think that's something, it'd be interesting to hear what other people think on that, or what, how they've, come across that challenge. But I know personally, we've talked about this, we want to take some time out to really think about that, how are we going to keep inspiring 50, 100 people at the same time, keeping everybody happy? It's almost like an impossible mission, but I'm sure if we put the effort in, we can do it.
Yeah, and I think, they say the culture sort of starts at the top, doesn't it, and filters its way down. And a part of the, mentioned before about recruitment's really important to us. So I think recruiting people who think like us is going to sort of breed that same sort of feeling of doing things in a sort of way that's going to be sort of beneficial for all the employees and contractors that work with us. I just think that will evolve naturally, but we obviously need to keep on top of that as well and make sure it is happening.
No, absolutely. And I think, like I said, it's, we really believe in our culture, we believe in our values. And I experienced it the other day, actually, in an office with another member where, nice introductory chat, good morning, how are things? Oh, this is wrong and not happy about this. And I tried to sort of have a chat with them, break it down and say, well, why is that? Go into it and try and put positive spins on it and keep that kind of positive momentum. Because I think in the industry we do, it is an industry where if it's working, fine, that's satisfactory, that's good. But when things don't work, which they, IT issues all the time, it's so easy to just become pessimistic, negative.
Yeah.
And I think that's, it's a challenge that I'm up for, because, I think not just in your working life, but in life in general, if you're a positive person, if you just, things are always going to go wrong, but you have to, I don't want to sing, you have to look on the bright side of life. I'm not going to do that. But it really is, it is, and I think that is a responsibility on our senior leadership team to kind of ensure that we keep that positive momentum and we can spread that, amongst the team.
And that's right. And I think both of us are quite calm individuals, and I think that helps as well. And we like people, when we're doing the recruiting, we like people who are not so much, I wouldn't say laid back, but are calm and don't get flustered under pressure, because that's when you get the stress, when people start getting wound up and having to go at other people, that's when the stress levels rise. So I think the more calm we can be and try and make sure that filters downwards as well, is going to keep people's stress levels down, and that's good for people's well-being as well. Absolutely.
And then I think I'll just finish on, recognition. Now, it sounds easy. I'm quite surprised it doesn't happen more often, but we had a great example. I won't mention the name, but we had someone that started for us around 9 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, and already in that time, this lady has gone above and beyond. She's worked hard, she's done so well, and so we've promoted her. We've given her promotion. We've made her executive level. We've increased her salary quite a lot, and even she was surprised and was, oh, this isn't normal. This, and it's like, no, but it was deserved. It was deserved.
Yeah.
And again, you got to be careful not to trip yourself up. You might not be able to do it every time. Just to do something.
That's right.
But I think it's just being open and honest and actually realizing a situation and credit where credit's due. And hopefully that can continue. Because that's so rewarding for the senior leadership team to be able to do that and make people happy, which I think is what we started this conversation about, and we'll absolutely keep being determined to keep our people happy. But hopefully we'll have some more stories to tell in the future, and positive ones at that. But no, thanks, Steve. See you next time.
See you next time.